I just lost all you guys on Voodoo.
Focus on the little one. Which one's the little one? The little one.
The carbonated. Welcome, everybody, to the first episode of Name in Progress. Well, it is a work in progress. It's from the guys that bring you Sith Talk, of course, Lanyard, myself, Dedekar, and Whitesword. We, of course, started off with the original Sith Talk program. We were going to call this Sith Talk 2.0 Beyond SWTOR, but we didn't want to just limit ourselves. As much as we did enjoy that name, it was also really fracking long, so we wanted to dummy it down a little bit. We're going to go with Name in Progress and list it under our Sith Talk logo on the Podomatic stream until we decide on a true name, in which case we'll start listing it secondarily on the Podomatic site as a adjunct. For those of you who check us out on YouTube, we're going to be listing the video versions on our original Sith Talk channel because we are somewhat partnered, so we can actually list both shows and put them in separate playlists. So if you enjoy one, you can tune in with that. If you like both of them, fuck it, watch them both. We'd love to see that happen. We are a social and gaming podcast. While we do talk about, we will be talking about games, we're going to talk more than likely cover movies and TV shows we're watching and some of the other shit that goes on in our life. Much as we were trying 3 times in a row to get this going, but first our main recording program for the audio, Pamela, fucked up, and then of course we had an issue where Uvu shut down, and then my wife's Asian TV show was entirely too loud, so we had to have her mute that as well. But, you know, we're excited to bring you guys more than just what we originally started with, which was our base, which was Star Wars, The Old Republic. Lanyard, Whitesword, and I have all been playing games for quite a long time. We've got a lot of games that we're currently playing, not to mention the obscene amounts of television shows that I seem to be allowed to watch, as well as other social media outlets that Kevin is always in line with. Lanyard is our video producer because, well, he has the knowledge that I don't, and I'm fine with that.
I think it.
Kevin, of course, brings us everything that the web has to offer, and then some. And of course, his amazingly interesting persona. So, just a brief introduction from everybody. Myself, gaming for about my entire life. Since I lost diapers, not necessarily lost them as in stopped using them, just lost them because they keep falling off of my fat ass. You know, I've known Kevin for seems like close to 7-8 years now, and am hoping one day to get my finances straight and move out to Oregon so I can record these podcasts live, and we only have one computer, not 3, to worry about crashing, not to mention many internet connections to worry about therein. Right now, I'm obsessed with Star Wars, The Old Republic, and of course, you know, I definitely get into a lot of Battlefield 3. I unlocked all the premiums, and I'm burning my way through opening every weapon I can. I'm waiting for a couple of games on this awesome Steam Gifts website. I don't know if anybody's seen it, but if you have a Steam account, go to steamgifts.com, check that out. It's actually pretty bitchin'. You don't have to pay anything. It just links to your Steam account. You log in, you get points, and people give away games ridiculously. We do have
lose all your stuff.
Possibly. I haven't seen it yet, but now we do want to make sure we tell you guys about our predominant sponsor, which of course is audibletrial.com/Sith Talk. We're going to keep pushing that sponsor. If you go with if you go to that URL or click the link that's on our Sith Talk Podomatic site, you can get 30 days of Audible for completely free. You get a free book, and if, of course, you do decide that you want to be a part of the Audible community like we have, you'll end up getting, it's about $15 a month. It's a free book, about half price on a book. Not to mention you'll be able to get into all the sales, and of course, as I said, there are sponsors, so you'll put a few shekels in the bank and help us to be able to support both streams on a constant basis. Lanyard, you want to go next?
Sure. Well, my name is Lanyard. I have been playing not near as long as the other two. I think I started late in 2007 with, well, actually early 2007 with Warcraft. And I just got the bug there. I did game a little bit before that on console games, but the last console game I played was on the PlayStation 2. It was Tekken, and I put my foot through the console. So I stopped playing those, and played Warcraft for a very, very long time, which is how I met Kevin through a meetup group, Warcraft meetup group, and that was what, Kev, about 3 years ago?
Yeah, about 3 or 4 years ago.
3 or 4 years ago, and we live in the same generalized location, so we're close, and go hang out at his place once in a while, and
do naughty things together.
Do So currently I'm playing. I moved on from Warcraft. I went on to Rift. I played Rift for a really long time. Then somebody introduced me to World of Tanks. I got stuck on World of Tanks. Then let's see, what else have I done? Star Trek Online came out, so I was really excited about that. Played Star Trek Online.
Tell that was a letdown.
Yeah, and that was a major letdown. Although it has gotten better, I just haven't gone back to it. Then went back to okay. Then I got SWTOR, which killed my Rift playing, and of course we did the podcast for Sit Talk, and now I'm kind of burned out on SWTOR and have moved on to the Secret World, and so now I'm playing the Secret World, World of Tanks, Rift, SWTOR, World of Planes, on and on and on. So. Yeah, that's pretty much it for my gaming. I'm into sci-fi. I like sci-fi films. Just recently got majorly hooked on the Walking Dead, and watched all 3 seasons in like.
How did it take you this long?
I just never watched TV. I was too busy watching the computer screen, so never got
Jesus.
into it. And,
Dude, you have the TV as big as you have a computer screen as big as mine. It's called minimizing screens, running multiple.
I can't do that. I can only.
And you
focus
run
on
2
one thing.
monitors.
I will run. I got 2 monitors so far. Yes. I just picked up another TV, so I mean I could run 3 monitors if I really wanted to. But
push it to the limit.
Well, yeah, the computer won't handle 3 monitors. It plugs all in, then it says, "I'm sorry, but your CPU or something like that won't handle 3 monitors." I'm like, so
yeah.
Although I've looked online and found some ways I can get around that, so I can actually hook up to 10 online if I wanted to pick it up. But so that's it. So Walking Dead, I've listened to the audiobooks, sci-fi, fantasy, everything. That's it, Kevin. That's 90% of it. Well, I wouldn't say 90% of the internet. I'd say probably a good 2% of the internet knows you, Mr.
I would say more.
Mr.
I think
Mr.
2% is being a little generous. It's more like 1%.
Mr. 4 million views on his channel. So
I can't. Hey, look, that's new. That really surprised me. I mean, that's always kind of cool.
Yeah, well, like the one guy said, if you'd stop clicking on the link, you wouldn't have that many. Stop watching.
Well,
videos.
I like to watch myself. I'm kind of conceited that way. I think I say funny things, and sometimes I need to hear them again.
This coming from the guy that has the camera hooked up in his shower, but.
Look, I like video. I can't help that it sometimes needs to go places that it doesn't belong, like the shower. I feel that I have things to share, and sometimes taking a shower, shit comes in my head that needs to come out.
Yeah, well, okay. You're in the shower.
Wait, whoa.
That's
out.
the bathroom can. We're not talking about the bathroom. I don't suck cock in the shower.
So give us an introduction to those people that
I don't suck
know
cock
Mr.
at all.
Whitesword.
That's just, first of all, let's get that. I don't suck cock at all. My name is Kevin or Whitesword. I always feel, I don't know, I always feel weird talking about myself. I do a lot of different things, but don't give me that look. I do a lot of different things. I play so many different games. My attention span for games jumped from one to another. Started out the Sif Talk. Yeah. Started out the Sif Talk with Dad because I love this. I was really hoping it was going to take off, and whatever. Anyways, and then I just jumped from MMO to MMO, looking for something that's not there. That's just was not there in all those MMOs from back in the day. And I think that's my biggest problem is I'm looking for that first time playing WoW, which will never be there. It's gone forever. That whole genre is gone.
Your MMO virginity is gone.
Well, yeah, I mean, just being surprised to be in areas that I was like, oh my god, like when I first installed Vanilla and seeing the dark portal there from the opposite side, it's like, I know I'm going to play this game forever, and I still play today. I still pay for my membership, and I still play every once in a while.
I almost thought about starting up a new character just for giggles. I'd have to.
Yeah.
It's changed so much that I'd have to start over.
Yeah, I play a little everything. I play from casual games to whatever. I'm playing shit tons of Skyrim right now. I finally beat the game. Now I'm just going through and doing all the side quests before I start on any of the DLC. If I'm not playing that, I'm playing Minecraft because it's the best game ever.
Jesus, 3 years running, he still says it.
It's the best game. I don't know. I bought you a code lantern for your going away present, which you never used.
I logged on and dug a hole. that was about,
and Dad, you were building a fucking starship last time we played together when we did that video.
Well, yeah, but they blew. What was it, the TDW or PDW? Or, yeah, they blew up the fucking server, and I got pissed off. And they were like, "Oh, we were just doing that for fun. We're going to reinstate it." And I was like, "You know what? Fuck these guys." You know.
So yeah, if I'm not playing, I play such a variety of games that it's. From a stupid indie game to high-end whatever, I am all over the place. I love playing video games. I love the stuff that people do with that, and I love meeting the people that I meet from video games, like Dad and Lanyard from the meetup group. Which that was a whole other thing. Going to a meetup group was just crazy, and being around other people that have the same interests like that was really kind of cool. And I would suggest check out meetup.com. See if you have a meetup group around you. Not Portland. It just closed. We're done.
We're done. Yeah. In fact, I just got the email the other day saying it's going to be closed. I'm like, go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, they're great, and you should really look into it because that's the thing. That's the biggest thing is the community of people you find, and is getting out there and talking to people. And I mean, I wouldn't have met Dad. I wouldn't have met Lantern and all the other people that I've met via the gaming that I really respect and go out of my way to help out when I can, and they do the same thing for me when I need it, and that's why I love these guys and doing things with them.
Love you too.
Yeah,
man.
And I mean I've always told Kevin, like, I understand the idea, like when you first get into a gaming genre, and the MMO is a perfect idea that I've told these guys, and I'll tell our new viewers. When I first got playing WoW, I was working at a GameStop I had worked there for about 3 years, and we were getting ready for the Burning Crusade launch, and everybody was, we were running nonstop tape inside the stores. And if anybody's ever been in a GameStop, they run those monitors with the jackass ads all the time, pushing the games we're hoping you're going to buy. I don't work there anymore, but that's what it was. And they always showed this cow-looking thing, and I'm like, holy shit. And I told my assistant, I was like, man, if I could be that cow, I would play that game. And he's like, dude, you can. Those are Taurens. And I'm like, no. And I'm like, okay. And I had a surgery coming up, and I told my wife, I said, listen, I need to upgrade my computer, and we've already got internet at the house, but I want to upgrade it because I'm going to be playing this game. And as everyone knows, or most people know, World of Warcraft could run on a 486 SX from the 1980s, or it could have at one point or another. So we upgraded computers, and I got into this game, and getting into that first game, that first MMO, you're not used to it. You're used to very linear gameplay. You've never been inundated into the online lifestyle. You have no clue what's going to happen. And I remember the first time I met White Sword's character, that eventually became Savan, which was Green Priest. And Green Priest...
No, that was my mage's Savan. Green Priest became Rusty, my paladin.
Rusty. I thought No, it was another name, I thought.
No. My paladin was Rusty. Was Green Priest at first because it was a girl.
Yeah.
And then I did the sex change when they offered that the first time. Because the guild was all female at the time, and you had to be female. But, character, and they all knew I was a guy. They all knew. Hell, the guy was a guy. So
yeah, but I got into that game, and it was amazing because when you first got in there, it was totally new. You got to meet all these people that you'd never had a chance to meet before.
All over the world.
And this was before voice over IP became a big hit. and you just got to have new and exciting adventures. And unfortunately, at this point, that new feeling that Kevin's always talking about is harder to find because you know, or you have a basic idea of what to expect out of the game, and you're not always as interested as getting from the first level all the way up to the max, or in the case of Secret World, going from your first new power to a whole genre of powers to be able to unlock. Yeah. Which sucks. Oddly enough, I was able to find that in Battlefield.
Cool.
I got into Call of Duty, and Call of Duty was fun, but it had a lot of systems that didn't make sense. These unlocks like martyrdom and being able to take more shots or having more health, and it just didn't feel right. I told Kevin, I said I liked to snipe in some of the other shooters that I had found online, but I could never get down sniping in that game because it seemed, for some odd reason, that in a ghillie suit, you could just as easily blend into a wall as you could the grass, and that pissed me off. Well, then I got into Battlefield, and it's so, I'm not going to say realistic, because let's be honest, if you're shooting someone and then reviving, it's not that realistic, but the gameplay is so much fun. Right. Well, that's what they say, but if you talk to some people, you could be reborn, you could even be reborn as a cow, you could come back as an ant, who knows?
Is that the second line? Is that what you said?
There you go. But Battlefield has done that for me. Battlefield is my current obsession, just ahead of Star Wars The Old Republic. I still play Star Wars The Old Republic a lot. Yeah. I'm surprised. I'm surprised, to be honest, that our following almost seems to be as big as the Star Wars subscriber base.
Yeah, right.
Well, yeah, I mean, on Sith Talk, we took 2 weeks off,
Yeah.
And we had 2 holidays coming up, and I went and I did the backlog, like I said in the show, and we had like almost 1,500 downloads through RSS, and I went, holy shit, and the hard thing to, on YouTube, it's easy to gauge your initial launch.
Right.
It's not with a pod site because people are going to get old issues. No one updates their shit all the time. Yeah. They get an email or they plug in their device and it updates. But and then I get on Star Wars and I'm like, oh man, I'm having fun with the banks. I'm still doing PvP. I did go and try to get back into World of Warcraft for a little bit. They sent me my 90th or so come back for 10 days deal.
Right.
And I got in and it didn't feel new. It felt molested. And I hate to put it that way because it's still the World of Warcraft universe I recognize. All the areas are all the same, and since Cataclysm and the rip in the world, the world looks beautiful. It's still a great game. The gameplay idea is still there. All of the functionality is still there. It's just that as they add and subtract from the game to make it more user friendly, they remove some of the challenge that I liked or the learning curve that we had. Yeah. You joked with me the one time that in beta it was supposed to have a type of run speed increase for Tauren, very similar to what the Worgen have now.
Yeah, Tauren's like when
in alpha
at alpha or beta, I can't remember. They weren't going to give Tauren's amount.
Yeah. They had a thing called running wild.
Running wild. They just ran faster. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, people. It's funny that people always compare all new MMOs to Warcraft, which.
But it's the top dog, so it
is the top dog.
It sets the standard.
It is the top dog, and it's the one that set the standard, and it's the one that everybody flocked to because. And because of that, most people think that World of Warcraft was the first MMO, and it's not. But
EverQuest, City of Heroes, Ultimate Online. Hell, fucking Muds were there before that.
So
Muds, Moos, Mushes.
There's a bunch of them out there before World of Warcraft. It's just Warcraft was the one that made it explode.
Yeah.
And
still is 10+ million people.
But
yeah, and I mean it was simplified in comparison to.
And I'm not trying to cut you off, Landry.
No. But what I was getting at was that they all compare every MMO now that comes out to what World of Warcraft is now. So in other words, they all say, "Oh, this sucks. This is crap. It needs this. It needs that. It needs the other thing because it doesn't have all this shit." But they forget. Well, a lot of people that are bitching started playing WoW when it was like at the earliest BC.
Yeah.
They forget what 1.2 WoW was. I mean, it was horrible.
I know where you're going with
as
this.
hell, and it was hard as fuck.
I know where you're going with this.
You know, I remember when you'd go into Molten Core, and it was insane. It was like people were bitching because the raid was too hard, and now you can solo the shit. You know, so it's just funny that people do that, and then they forget, or they just assume that every game coming out should be like that. Now, I know where you're going, Kevin. I know where you're going, Kevin.
I know where you're going, and
I know where you were going.
What you're going to say is that because there's a certain standard that a current game has, that every new game has to reach that standard at launch.
I don't think they have to reach the standard of WoW, but I think what you're trying to say is, well, WoW didn't start out where it is now. Okay, that makes sense. That was 8 years ago.
Yep.
In 8 years, they have borrowed and other stuff from other games and have made what WoW is. So WoW has said, okay, this is the new standard. You need a looking for group. You need, you don't need to looking for raid. I mean, if you got the PvP, people want PvP. They want a looking for group. They want a way to enjoy the content that they're
calendar.
A calendar would be nice. So WoW started out with nothing. Now it says, okay, this is what the game should have.
Yeah.
It should have these.
There are some basics
features
that you absolutely need to have.
Now, if you look at like games that are coming out now, I mean, they're coming out now, but they were been in years in making, where some of this stuff wasn't even thought of.
Forever.
Like look how long it took for them to get a looking for group in SWTOR. I really do believe that game was so amazing, but it missed the mark on having some of these things that, as WoW players and people who play that type of game,
if you're gonna if you want to take people from other games, you're going to have incorporated some of the basery.
And I think
stuff.
a lot of it comes from is I look at BC. I didn't raid once. I just wanted. I didn't even do. I think I did Hellfire Peninsula like 2 or 3 times. Vanilla. I walked around Durtar just like, what the hell do I do?
Doing? Yeah.
You know, I'm a dwarf, and these guys are orcs, and somebody's chasing me.
Yeah, I came in 2 weeks before the BC launch.
Yeah, so it's
so obviously I wasn't even level 60 at the time.
Yeah, so I paid the full amount for those 2 games, never once touching the raiding content, not really understanding how to get to it. Wrath came, me and Dat, and the rest of us, we were fucking Lich King hard. I mean, we were doing we weren't up top guild stuff, but we were doing I was seeing the content that I was paying for. And so when I get into a new game like SWTOR or Secret World or another type of MMO, and I shuggle out the $60-$70 for the game and then the membership card, I want an option to allow me to go through the contents that's there. I mean, I got to 60 in SWTOR, never once stepped in a dungeon.
50, yeah.
Or 50. Never once stepped in a dungeon. Until the look for... Well, I did the Black Talent. Everybody does the Black Talent. Yeah. It's the one that you could do by yourself. With your companion at level 6.
I don't know that looking for group was the mishit on Star Wars. I think for me the biggest mishit was the fact that the story, the single-player adventure, was so easily single-handed. Like, you could literally go through your entire story and all the world quests, with the exception of a few heroics, and never have to help anybody or need anybody.
Well, because you just swap out your companion for the one you need for that fight.
Right. And with World of Warcraft, when I first started that, even with I played a Tauren Hunter, which at 80 and 85, I realized, wow, what a fucking dumbass I was. But at the time,
it's the best.
Well, the joke was we had that ground stomp that was our racial, and if you got something close enough, you had failed as a hunter. But when I first started the character, I never thought of that. But even as a hunter, if you got to something that was an elite, or you got to something that was, anywhere near a hard quest, you didn't have the option of saying, "Well, fuck it, I'll just do it."
Right. Even as a hunter with your pet, you'd be lucky as shit to have your pet tank it enough.
Yeah.
See, but I think as a game teaches you to how to play your character, learning.
Right.
I mean, strafe. I will say any game I play strafe now that I do strafing or do any kind of disengage type of stuff all comes from WoW. Learning how to move around better
kiting, yeah.
as a hunter, strafing, disengaging, whatever, using that kind of thing. I think allowed me to level up as well. I did.
agree.
So from playing a hunter.
My first character, WoW, was a warlock, and that was back when warlocks were fucking the shit. When it was running warlock as a what was it?
Destruction, Inferno.
Destruct, and it was the bomb. You pretty much could solo everything on your own. And I didn't get into having friends until I got into doing dungeons. And believe it or not, the first time I even considered doing a dungeon was, what do you mean I got to go into a dungeon to get my horse? So now I've got, to get my mount. Yeah. So
and that was
the only reason I grouped up with anybody, because other than that, it was like they're in the area, we're both doing the same quest, blah blah blah, and then thanks a lot, see you later, So it wasn't until I actually had to go into that dungeon before I actually got it. And then of course that was also the start of my guilds. We started a guild and everything, and it was a lot of fun. And then I switched over to melee and kind of stuck with melee from there on out.
And it's stuff like that that draws people together when you start seeing people. Like with SWTOR, you might see somebody running around every once in a while, but you're not going to need to, because I just pull out my healer pet, I just pull out my tank pet, I stand back, let him. But at least with WoW in that sense, is like I'll never forget the first time I ever really grouped somebody. I was doing some stuff on my dwarf, and I was playing with all these people, and we were killing the Yeti, and I was a dwarf, and it was some Yeti catch. You had to go kill this Yeti. And I remember just like, couldn't do it. And some people just like, oh, hey, blah, blah, blah. And I was in some guild. I don't know. I just joined because they just said, here, sign this charter thing. And I played with those people for like 4 hours. And then they're like, hey, do you like your guild? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. How do you tell if you like it? Does it? And they're like, oh, well, do they help you? I'm like, no. And then I end up joining their guild. I was with that guild for like 2 or 3 years. Yeah. And it all became just because stumbling across somebody that needed some help.
And that's the thing that blew my mind. See, before I played WoW, I used to play just the solo games. Civilization. I played I played that damn, what is that house? You make houses and you put Sim City or Sims. The Sims.
Yeah.
Sim Online.
The
Sims. Sim Online.
Oh, you dirty bastard.
No. Sim Online is the best MMO ever out there.
I played the Sims 1. I played the Sims, the first one.
Oh, no. And any game you have to tell something to take a shit is not a game to play.
I know, that stuff used to piss me off. I'm like, dude,
Sim Online is
go take a shit if you've got a shit, Why are you stinking? Take a shower, you fuck. No, I told you to eat something. Why are you dancing? Yes, I hated that game.
I mean, the great thing about...
Sorry, Dad. The cool thing about when I got into WoW, and I only started playing WoW because I finally got internet that could handle it. It's dial-up for everything else, so it was useless. But I picked up WoW, and the funny thing is, I went into the Walmart, and I saw I was like, I'm gonna need a new game. So I saw Warcraft and EQ. Warcraft and EQ2 sit beside each other, right? And I was like, I knew about these games, I heard about these games, but I was like, these guys, Evercrack, exactly. I was like, I don't want to get into that, and so I was like, well, okay, World of Warcraft is on sale, so that's why I bought it. And what blew my mind when I first started playing that was, oh my God, these other people running around are people.
Yeah.
Because I had never played. Other than, at home on a console with a guy next to you,
Yeah.
I never played another character on and then you start talking to him, and of course I didn't know when I first started playing WoW about servers or locations or anything. I just said, okay, that server. So I picked whatever server it was.
It was an Australian. It was an Australian server.
It was an Australian server. Yeah, I just don't remember the name of it. And I was talking with these people. And come to find out they're in fucking Australia, and and I think it's funny now that I think that's just normal, but it blew my mind. I was like, what? That was just crazy. But yeah, I mean, I really, and now I've lost my train of thought. So, Dad, you can go.
Well, I want to just get back to what you were saying originally. What our original point was about games should not have to copy WoW to be good.
Yes.
Okay, I agree with you that they don't have to copy WoW, but I think WoW sets enough of standards to say, this is what this is what your game should have. It should have these small features. A PvP's got to be one. I mean, if you want your game to survive, you got to have PvP because people love PvP. And people say, oh, looking for group destroys games. But I'm paying for this game, and I want to see the content. And sometimes, like I was saying, I was always surprised when we're playing SWTOR. We walking around, and I've always been the person to try to get to people to join guilds or anything like that. So it was always my thing. And I would run into people all the time. I don't want to join some stupid guild. And I would see that more and more. Yeah. It's like, this is an MMO. What part of the MMO don't you understand? And that's what was kind of really... SWTOR was such a single-player game with other people in your way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think everything has to copy game.
I think it can be either single or... Well, now that it's free-to-play, if you're doing free-to-play, it's only single-player. But
until they start charging to breed on the station.
Right, single-player or MMO. I mean, it's kind of a combination. Well, you can do both.
See, the thing that got me into my first guild, and almost everybody that I've talked to in every MMO has that my first guild story. Mm-hmm. You know, and for me, and these guys have known me for a long time, but I have a shit memory. I can tell you almost everything about video games, every job I've ever had. I can't remember my mom's birthday. I can't remember anything important. Well, yeah, Ubu told me that. No, my anniversary was on the 3rd. My wife's birthday is tomorrow.
Told you,
going up to dinner. No, I don't think. I haven't checked Facebook.
Yeah, that's how I knew.
But
by the way, Pseudo, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Pseudo.
Happy birthday
to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday,
my wife Pseudo. Happy birthday to you. There we go. A public embarrassment on our first podcast. Cha-ching, baby.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, everybody has that my first guild story. And I remember the 3 guys that I formed my first guild with. Bloodbounded, Carpers, and Gorillas. And Carper and Gorilla were actually in the Guardians for a little while when they came back to our server into the game. I never ran into Bloodbounded again, but we were out, and what made that happen was the fact that there was world PvP, and it was organic. Everybody, you're leveling up, and all you keep thinking about is the dread of one zone, Strangle Thorn Vale. Yeah. Everybody hated that fucking
doing
zone.
The southern Stranglethorn right by the Alliance town.
You know what the thing you did was you died 150 times just to get to fucking Booty Bay, and then once you got that flight path, you were good.
Yeah. And we had the other problem is we had to come we came across the water into Booty Bay, and we had to make our way north.
Yep.
Which completely fucked us because the high ends on that server were coming down to rape us on the way in, and we were our guys were coming up the main road to rape them on the way down, and it was just a hell of a zone. And then I grouped up with Carper and Gorillas and Bloodbounded, and we would go out. And we were maybe level 30 or 40 at the time. I had bought and I am guilty of buying gold. Because at the time,
we've all done it.
Every MMO player did it at some point, but at 40,
I haven't done it since
just getting your mount was epic. You spent almost 200 gold to get this mount that doesn't go more than twice what your running speed is. It felt like
wind through your hair.
I used to run through Orgrimmar on my dwarf. Look how fast I did. I would die.
Yeah.
But I was on a horse.
And I bought my Kodo. I bought a really epic weapon, that was on the auction house. It was super rare. I had it in my bank for the longest time, and it was great. We went and we were a band of brothers. We all went through and we killed stuff. We were able to get our quest done in Stranglethorn Vale. As we were approaching our 50s, we actually started camping some nearby Alliance side towns, and it was all for the Horde, and we were just loving it.
Yeah.
And because of the structure, and I think it's not a slight, but it is part of the game, was that in World of Warcraft you had an entire organic map. Mm-hmm. It was one map. So there was no point where the Alliance couldn't come in and gank you in the Barrens. Getting camped at the crossroads was a moment of
that was the best thing
initiation in the World of Warcraft.
I'm bored. Let's go raid Crossroads.
and we at 40 went and found the equivalent on the Alliance side and did that to them.
Yeah.
Red Ridge. That fucking bridge is mine.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was so much fun. And we ended up forming our first guild. For the life of me right now, it eludes me as to what the name of it was. But those four
Gankers
guys.
Union.
No, it was something. It was
my
it
first
was
guild was
something that blood
Insomnia.
bonded.
Insomnia was my first guild. I
But-
remember dancing on the mailbox in Alliance territory at Stormwind.
Yeah.
Just outside the guild hall. I used to dance on top with my character.
And your night elf?
Yeah,
Watching
no,
the
it was
Jingle
she was a human, so I was doing the Macarena on the
Oh.
just to get money, and it was surprised. They're like, because it was 4 of us were going to join the guild, but we didn't have any money to start the guild, right? So we said,
You do what I would do to sold all my armor and be like, I got the money, but I have no armor or weapons. I'm going to punch
this
things.
is completely fucked up. I said, I'm going to dance on this box and see if they'll throw me coins. And I'm dancing, and I'm saying, hey, we're looking for money for our guild, pay the dancer. And I was shocked. People were fucking trade, throwing silver, or whatever. We ended up making enough money off a stupid Warcraft character dancing on the. I was like, score.
I think it's more just that it's funny.
It's just fun. It was fun. It was fun
But
doing those.
and it was the organic nature of the PvP area that we had to go through. That rite of initiation in the Barrens, the rite of initiations in Stranglethorn Vale, that strengthened us as a group. And it's what challenged us to find people to help us fight this war. In Star Wars, what I feel was missing was that organic PvP, and everybody says, oh, well, there's no way to make it organic. Well, technically you can. The problem is for us is that much like Warcraft, where we all started on opposite ends of the map and closed in, right about the time you're about to close in on the enemy's portion of the map, you're done with the planet.
Right.
And that's every map we have.
They're completely different sides of the map, and you don't ever have to
that was
really
the
go
one thing
to
I was
the other
really
side.
looking forward to. I was looking forward to in SWTOR is getting my character up and going through the Alliance.
Lobby zone.
Well, not even the lobbies, just through the cities. I was looking forward to running through and going through and running around their space station and trying to get on it, flying my
city raids.
Yeah, I was like, it was like, because it was like they weren't really telling anything. Then we heard their space battle stuff, so it's like we're gonna be able to fly our fucking ships into their actual where they're leveling up at just to fuck around. No.
And
Yeah, and
see,
that's the
that
one thing.
kinda killed me.
Yeah, it is kind of annoying that even if say the starter planets you can't go to. Okay, fine. But the next
not because I want
planet
to kill
was-
people. I just want to goof off and run around.
The thing is, you could with for instance, the next planet for the Sith is Nar Shaddaa, right?
Right.
Or Drum and Ka, excuse me. There's nothing for the Republic to do on. They have no reason to go there. In fact, they can't even fly there, which I think is funny because as soon as you get off the ship, it says you're flagged for PvP. Well, who the hell's going to kill me? I mean, I could walk around without my lightsaber for fuck's sake, and nobody's going to hurt me. And that bugs me. They need to. Now you can in Coruscant, but you have to go all the way across the map to the other side, and there's no reason for you to be over there.
I think the only time I've ever encountered anybody was on Tatooine.
Yeah, Tatooine was big.
Tatooine was like my
big
first
PvP area.
That was like my first experience for PvP after going through those planets.
That's because it's the first planet where the missions overlap each other.
Yeah, overlap.
Yeah. And the other problem was that, we found out that most of the planets we were going to were phased, like going to Terrace.
Oh, yeah.
If you went to Terrace on an Imperial, it was phased so that you were after the war.
Right.
You were after the war. When you went there as a Republic, you were before the war.
Right.
And you were just taking the planet over and situating your bases, as opposed to the Imperial side where the war's already over. We're just fighting out the leftovers.
Right. Yeah.
And that phasing actually killed it.
Yeah.
Not as bad as phasing kind of killed people trying to do dailies on Wrath of the Lich King in the fucking Stone Guy area.
I hated that
because
that area. I hated that whole phase
Sons of
thing.
Hodir.
Yeah, the Hodir. But that. Don't get me wrong, the Hodir quest line was epic, but you couldn't help a buddy if you had already done it and you were on dailies. You couldn't go and join their phase.
No.
Well, and you saw that too. We saw that too when we were trying to raid Ice Crown. The stupid fucking summoning port was just far enough out that literally, if you were trying to summon people in, they all disappeared.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, god damn it! How far is somebody in here?
Yeah,
have you not done the quest line to get over here?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And that's
You know,
the other
fucking
thing.
hell.
You know, the storyline to open up all the areas on Lich King was really cool, but I didn't want to do it on every fucking character because it was like this was
Yeah.
really cool, but it was long and it was arduous and it was ugh. And you know, so now.
But you needed that money if you didn't have a stranglehold on the auction
Right.
house.
That
And-
cold flying.
Yeah, and you don't have that in Star Wars. And even as I'm playing in Secret World, you know, Secret World pretty much can be single man. Yeah,
It can.
And I was actually confused because I was in there and this guy's got all these cool powers and shit, and I'm killing zombies, and I'm like, what the fuck is this guy bothering me for? And I'd jump on the cars, and all the zombies would come, and I'm like, all right, light the fire, run around, and just kite them, and let them run through the fire and die. And this asshole just brings out his sword, and whoosh, he's farming for gear, and everything's dead. I'm like, well, get the fuck away from me, you dick.
Yeah.
And Michael's like, well, did he message you? Is he trying to give you a group invite or something? I'm like, no, he's just killing shit.
Well, the thing about
He lets me tag him, but then they killed all of my fucking mobs. You asshole! Leave me alone.
There's some missions in there. There's a lot of. I noticed that, like I'll go into an area where somebody's doing some missions, and you've got to kill, let's say, this boss that pops up out of a rock. Okay, and I get there and there's another group there, right? And I'm sitting there thinking, oh, I've got to get, you know, like with WoW and with Star Wars, I've got to get in their group. Otherwise, they're going to kill this fucker. I'm not going to get credit for it. I got to wait for it to respawn. And the respawns, other than just the general zombies that are walking around, are forever on that game.
Yeah.
And come to find out, but because I'm in that with Secret World, because I'm in that phase of my mission, if it pops up and I'm in the area where it pops up and it dies, I got the score. I got the point for it. So that is something that's nice. You don't necessarily have to group. But yeah, you're right. It is kind of solo. However, there, as from what I've been getting from everybody else, the further up, the further into the world you get, you're going to have to start grouping with people because they're going to get to the point where it's way above your head. Otherwise, you're farming low areas forever until you get enough skill points to add up, and then you can go do it on your own. But if you want to move on, you've got to group with people. And I've done a couple of the dungeons. Yeah, those are really, really fun. They're really good and long.
Well, but that's only until someone they have an issue like we had in Wailing Caverns, Kev. You remember you could spend 8 hours running around Wailing Caverns if someone didn't know the map.
Yeah. 9 bosses in there.
Well,
and you have to kill all of them to even. You have to kill them all to even access that Tauren to come down and walk his slow ass Tauren ass down.
Now he runs.
Now he runs.
Just so he can summon that.
But I mean, that's what I'm saying is, you know, when we first started playing Warcraft, you could spend 8 hours in there just doing that, or God help you.
God help you. You want to do all of
Black Rock. Yeah, you go do
14-hour
Black Rock. There was like 16 fucking bosses.
I think there's 12 to 13 bosses in that group.
My wife holds the record. She spent 12 hours in there.
Yeah. I love that place.
She was in
I used
LFG.
to camp in there. I loved it until they broke it up.
She was in LFG after they broke it up into sections, and the group she was in needed to do the second half, right? But it spawns you at the beginning. So instead of just going and doing the second half,
you gotta fight your way through.
Wants to hit every boss. Well, then they get done because they figure, oh, well, we done prison. Fuck it, we're done.
No.
And, you know, people leave, and they're like, no, we got to go and do this part.
No.
And they're like, fuck it, I'm not getting my little sack of goodies. Fuck you guys, I'm out of here.
Yep.
She was the original person of the first group that she had started 12 hours earlier.
Yep.
I come home from work, and she's going, son of a fucking bitch, these motherfuckers. And I'm like, what's wrong, honey? I've been in this damn place for 12 hours. I said, I would have left after 2.
Yeah.
You know,
I liked it before they broke it.
But they eventually nerfed everything. They eventually nerfed it. I think that some of the things in Secret World may see that too after time.
Eventually, they all do.
But as I'm playing, like I do like some of the differences. I'm a little weirded out by the different abilities and having to stack skill points and the ability points. Those are kind of hard.
It was for me too. It was like that's why I don't play Lanyard because I fucked him up. You can't wipe it. You can't wipe it clean, and I have to.
That's another thing. Why can't I flip my fucking points out? Like it's a buy to play game. You buy the initial box set. You buy the initial box and then you play for free. but they have an in-game store, and at the very least, in-game store could support the idea of, all right, I pay 50 cents and I can reset my my attribute.
Yeah.
That
And that's something that they're probably working on right now. Funcom's going through a restructuring, which freaked everybody out. But they also have a 400% increase in subscriptions.
Right.
Subscriptions, in other words, accounts. 400% increase in accounts since they went to buy-to-play.
And I mean, it's not that it's a bad game. It's just, like I told my nephew, going from a vertical MMO to a horizontal MMO is completely a weird change, because I'm going, well, when do I know when I'm maxed? Well, that's when you have enough points to unlock everything, or you've went through and you've gotten all the outfits for all of the different preset classes.
Well, that's just it. When you had mentioned that you get to the end of you get everything maxed out and you've got nothing to do. But that's what's kind of cool about this, is because they keep adding stuff. They just recently added chainsaws, which now so you have your two separate weapons, let's say your blades and your hand weapons, and now you can have a chainsaw as well. And then they've got rocket launchers that you can work on getting, and some super magic.
I saw somebody with one. It looked weird. I was talking to Dad about this, and I was thinking about this too. Is with that game, I'd love to see they have magic. They have was it chaos magic and
chaos, blood, and elemental.
Why can't I be an arms person with one hand and cast magic stuff on the other, so my bullets are? Can you?
I'm doing that now.
Yeah,
you can mix whatever you want.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean like make
the assault class, and then I have the elemental right now, so I can shoot with a rifle, but then I'm working on getting fireballs.
The best way.
Well, no, what I'm saying is, why can't you enchant your gun to shoot
fire bullets?
Oh, well, you can do chaos. When I was trying to figure out what chaos magic was, I understood blood and I understood elemental, but chaos, what the fuck is chaos? When I finally read it, I was like, oh, it's the Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Because you make your weapons with magic. So
cool.
So like I saw somebody in one of the raids that was doing that was chaos, and she was pulling out, first she did one thing where she had pistols, boom boom, and they were just green pistols. They were like these ethereal pistols, and then the next thing you know, she's swinging this gigantic hammer. So there's
check that out.
It's chaos is that way.
Because I'm assault right now.
Yeah. And Lanyard is assault rifles and shotguns, which I come to find out was tanking, and I don't want to tank until I know how to, what I'm doing.
And the only thing I don't like about the game is that I have to use my nickname as my main name.
That does kind of suck.
Because I'm White Sword TV.
Yeah, you have to slide it in. Well, Lanyard is I forgot what his first name is, but he's Lanyard Nightcutter, but I had to throw some other goofy name in there.
Why even give us the option of putting in names if you're going to put this RP type of deal, if everybody's just going to use White Sword?
I mean, it's cool.
Well, I understand it from the idea
everybody could be first name. Everybody could have a first name of Bob. Because
I mean, that's good. I mean, I understand like that where people can have multiple names, and then it's based off this other name.
Just the middle name,
yeah, I should be able the option to have to say, I'm Bob, blah blah blah, or whatever.
But I mean,
have
like,
it displayed differently.
Yeah,
it's one of those things where you get used to the vertical style of an MMO, and you go to a horizontal one where it's just so widespread that it.
Okay, he's gone. We should talk shit about him while he's gone.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what the fuck is going on in the background? Why is it gray behind him now?
Because his girlfriend's watching TV.
Oh, you think?
Yeah.
I bet she's watching porn.
Maybe.
It's got to be.
There's a lot of flickering going on back there.
Yeah.
A lot of... Shh. You can't hear us yet. Oh.
Okay.
Hey, hi, Lanyard.
I had to go get my KY.
Whoa.
He's eating KY? That's a new way to lube your ass. What the fuck? I don't even know if I want to know what that is.
Did you just really eat KY jelly?
No.
No, what is that? I've never seen food in a tube.
Oh.
Antacid.
Oh, God.
That's what they have Tums for.
That's what I was looking for. This is my emergency backup stuff.
I got some Tums. You want some? You just got to come and get them.
Now, my mom used to sell this stuff, and then she wasn't doing very well, so she's had a whole bunch of sample things, and she just gave me one.
Jesus.
It's not bad, but I like Tums better.
That just... oh, God.
As long as I'm not having fire in my chest,
I don't know. My fucking coworker comes in yesterday, and he's like, "Oh, look at these little snack things I got." He pulls out this fucking seaweed in a bag. I'm like, what the
Portland.
fuck is that?
Hey,
And I took a little piece off, and I'm like, what is that?
Is that your ecstasy for
No,
later?
I wish.
Wasabi.
Well, they had wasabi, and I was like, oh, these aren't bad. And I was like, dude,
Okay,
why are
well-
you eating? I'll give you the video. Well, maybe I won't. He might not. He might get mad if I give you
Before
the
or
video.
after you post the arrest video that you just got?
Oh my
Oh,
god.
should we talk about that?
Yes.
Well, let me tell you about these peanuts, okay, first.
Talk about the peanuts.
So,
Talk about
my
your
mother-in-law knows that I'm in... Yeah, my penis. So
Go
small.
grab the.
I've got my webcam's bigger. But no, my mother-in-law says to me, knows that I like spicy stuff. She knows I'm into Asian food. You know, I eat sushi, and there's a lot of Asian restaurants I go to specifically because I love good sushi and sashimi. And so apparently she got the idea while out in Amish country to get me wasabi peanuts. And they're not bad. They're just hard to get used to.
Yeah.
Okay? Because on one side you have that, and they're inconsistent as far as the flavor variation.
Okay.
In some cases, it's very spicy, and it's very heavy horseradish. In other cases, not so. What the fuck?
He's got his horse head.
Oh Jesus. But they're hard as a fucking rock, and occasionally you'll get one that's got so much horseradish in it that it just kicks you in the fucking face.
Look.
And then other times it just hurts your teeth to eat. But I'm a snacker.
Lanyard, write down between 45 minutes to 50 minutes, please.
45 to 50 minutes. Got it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm at 51. But
No, I just want you to check the audio around there for something. But go ahead, Dan.
Oh, you talking in the
see
background? Yeah,
farting?
next time you get up from the mic, hit mute.
I could have swore I heard him fart.
Yeah.
I fell. Okay, I fell.
I was gonna say I thought that was what
I
it
knew
was.
I heard a collapse.
I thought that's what it was.
All right, Kevin. So you're exciting arrest this week.
What's not exciting? It's
This
never
week,
been
it was just
exciting.
before the podcast. It was when he went to
Literally.
7-Eleven. That's why he was taking so long to get back. He was
And I
being
left my
sprawled
phone
out
here.
on the sidewalk by Portland
No,
PD.
I do not get on the fucking ground, okay? I don't give a shit. You got a gun pointed at me. I don't get on the ground for the police.
He was
Anyway.
raped once. He's got a
That
bad
full body
idea.
check.
So I love Reddit. Reddit's really awesome. One of my new favorite subreddit is /r/r/horsemask, where I bought my wonderful horse mask.
Yes, this horse.
Your obsession with that thing is ridiculous.
And so, anyways, wearing the horse mask, walking down TV Highway. Let me zoom back out here.
Which is Tualatin Valley Highway.
Yeah.
Out in
So- Where I live at.
Oregon.
Yeah. So walking down the street with my horse mask and this pointed on my chest like this, with a big blue camera at the end. So something like this, basically. Walking down just like this, so I wanted to film myself doing this, so I could cut some stuff up later. And I bump into somebody who was one of my neighbors, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And so I'm telling him, like, "Oh," so I take the mask off, and I tell him, "Oh, I'm just goofing off, whatever." And I hear, "Whoop, whoop, 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 whoop," and I'm like, "The fuck is that?" And I look around, these cops are coming. I'm like, "Whatever." I go to put the mask back on. "Put your stuff on the ground." I'm like, "What? Are they talking to me? I don't know. There's nowhere near me." And then I just keep walking, and he's like, "Put your stuff on the ground." I'm like, okay. I don't see what's going on. I take the mask, I put it down, and I take the tripod. I'm not going to put my tripod on because it's got my camera, so I'm opening it up, undoing a thing, putting it down, recording the whole time. So I got the whole conversation with them talking, basically like, that's a tripod. I'm like, yeah, oh, shit. I'm just like, you pulled me over to ask me what my tripod was? It's like, no, somebody said you had a crossbow and you were coming out of 7-Eleven. I'm like,
with a mask
Who
on.
robs a place with
With
a fucking crossbow?
well, okay, so then he gets into this whole thing about how, everybody's got guns in their mind because of the school shootings. And I'm like, I'm wearing a fucking horse mask. I'm in Hillsboro, And he's just like, it doesn't matter. And he's like, then he starts like, people could have thought it was an AR-740 something, whatever gun. And I was just like, what the fuck are you talking about? And so I make the comment, I go, well, maybe next time I'll wear my unicorn mask. And he looks at me and he goes, that's not really appropriate. I'm like, I don't think you wasting my time pulling me over is appropriate. He goes, we don't just pull people over. I'm like, keep your mouth shut, Kevin. Keep
Yeah,
your
right.
mouth shut. They're fucking Washington County sheriffs. They pull people over because they got nothing else to do.
Right, right.
And me walking around with a horse mask is a reason
And
to
a
pull me over.
crossbow.
And a crossbow. Like, I'm gonna.
With a camera mounted to the end of it.
I'm just trying to figure out who the fuck robs a 7-Eleven with a crossbow. That just seems like a real... That's like saying, oh, well, we saw you, and it looked like you were carrying a harpoon. Were you trying to rob that 7-Eleven guy with a harpoon?
So
you scared the towelhead with your harpoon.
Now, that's not very nice, Dad. The guy's a Mexican, and he's a very nice guy.
I'm sure. When he came across the border 30 years ago, it was fantastic.
Anyway, so I'm not going to comment on that. So I asked him, I go, I got orange tape. Can I still... And I asked him, can I put my horse pass back on? He goes, do you really want to just put it on after us pulling you over? And I'm like, I'm not doing anything wrong.
I'm not doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
Do you know who I am? I am White Sword, motherfucker. I love
I've got
my horse
4
pass.
million views on my YouTube channel.
I don't do that, okay? It was a one-time thing I posted. I was like, wow. Anyway, so I said, can I put my horse mask back on? And he's like, well, do you really think that's appropriate, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, what's if I wrap it up in orange tape? And he's like, well, that'd be better. And I'm like, okay, so I'm going to wrap my tripod in orange fucking tape and walk around and do the same thing tomorrow.
Now you'll have an orange crossbow.
I just,
you know what it is? It's that fucking paranoia bullshit that people have.
Yep.
There's a fucking weirdo walking around with a horse mask on.
Okay, you're in Hillsboro. There's a lot of weirdos. So.
Okay, yes, that's true. I'm telling
you're on the outskirts of Portland. Isn't the city fucking motto?
No,
keep
if
it
I
weird?
was downtown Portland walking around with my horse mask and tripod on,
but if
it
you
would
were
have
walking
been,
downtown Portland with your horse mask on, you'd have to have at least fishnets and high heels. Otherwise, you won't fit in.
I still wouldn't have got pulled over because it would have been, oh, here's something.
Visual of that.
You would have been pulled over then because they thought you were soliciting.
Yeah. So basically, they pulled me over for having my horse mask on, and and it's like, I'm just like, I'm doing it, and he pretty much just sitting there. He's like, okay, you're free to go. So I'm like, okay, I gotta go and do a show, and he still continued talking to me. He goes, so why are you wearing a horse mask? And I go, it's an internet thing, and he's like, but why? I guess I just don't understand. I go,
do you have the internet, sir?
Do
you have children, sir?
Dude, I live in Alabama. You realize people don't even know
by
what a podcast is?
Yeah, by the way...
Almost every child down here has an iPhone, an iPod, or an iPod Shuffle, or some random variation of an iProduct, and no one knows what a podcast is. I have to go, it's like radio, only it's on the internet, and you can listen when you feel like it, not just because it's on.
I know. I always feel weird.
You live in Alabama. You're like one of 70 people that have internet, okay?
I know. I always feel weird trying to explain podcast and like, well, what do you really like? Oh, I really like this. Well, there are about 1,000 fucking podcasts that deal with what you like. Wouldn't it be more interesting to listen to something that you like and have commercials and everything around the things you like? Well, yeah, but I don't want to waste my time downloading anything. Like,
better yet, I tell people like, when I did the Hate Machine, I would tell people, hey, check out this out. It's just me ranting for 45 minutes. Google the Universal Hate Machine, or go to Facebook and type in the Universal Hate Machine, or use my online moniker Datacar. I Google myself. Well, on the internet.
He diddles himself every 2 or 3 days.
I Google myself on the internet like once a month just to see how far my name's gotten out there, because I've used this thing up here, my title,
that's it. Yep.
For 8 years now.
That's his head.
That's his hat, yeah.
No, that's his head when he's Googling. How big is my head? Oh, Noticorn. Do people know me on the internet?
Oh, fuck you.
I Google mine and I just get a whole bunch of freaking...
You Google your name, you get
I get lanyards.
You get things to wear around your neck.
Right.
But, I tell them to, Google my name, and they're like, well, what's that? And I'm like, Datacar. It's like my login for my work shit, only with an extra T. And they're like, oh, okay. And no one can find it. Apparently, the ability to use Google, for God's sake, apparently befuddles the people down here.
I'm telling you, man, most of them are just now figuring out how to tie shoes because they've never had them before.
Oh,
slip-ons don't make life easier.
There are some people who still don't.
Of course, you're like north central Alabama, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're not in the super rustic portion, which is 40 miles south of me.
You're not in the Everglades.
Oh God, no. But
That would be
it's
cool. Have somebody. We should get somebody from Cajun and have him come on the show.
from bumfuck Egypt.
Yeah.
Hey, if you know someone who lives in the sticks and you have to drive them 40 miles to see what a house looks like.
What a house looks like. Yeah. It's not on sticks and in the middle of a swamp.
But no, I mean, I did the Universal Hate Machine because of my obsession with stupid and the things that piss me off, and I try to get people to listen, check that out, and everybody's like, oh, I can't seem to find your information on there. So like, I got to rip discs so that people can get the MP3 versions of my podcast, but no, I mean,
Just don't work on my record player.
You can still go to Walmart and get what they call a Victrola, which is like a Victrola, only it's modern.
CDs. Yeah.
I
saw the other day at Big Lots, which I don't know if they have Big Lots down there or not, but
yeah, they're all.
They have
like
something I'm going to get my dad, because he's got a whole bunch of LPs, right? And I got a couple myself. But he's got a whole bunch of LPs, and it's actually a record player with a USB plug, so you can plug it into your...
Don't buy that from Big Lots. That's like fucking worse than Kmart.
It was like $20.
Yeah, it's probably made by Memorex.
Or Hitachi.
Yeah, but I mean, what was it? I got pulled over one time because I was supposedly speeding.
You probably were.
On your horse?
No, I fucking wasn't. No, we were driving to Winfield, okay, and I'd been down the same road 100 times, and you gotta love the South because they put speed signs like every 400 or so miles.
Yeah.
So you never actually know what the speed limit is. But the last posted speed limit sign was 45. But I've been driving this way, almost a year at that, or a couple months at this point, and it goes from my side of town. It's like 65 miles an hour, then it drops to 55, and then right as you cross the bridge into the next city, it's 45. But in between, there's like 10 miles between speed limit signs. And I knew coming into it that it was 45, so I wasn't even using I have an automatic, and I dropped it into seconds so that I was I would end up basically coasting down the hill, or as you would call it, Jake braking, just blowing the gears back, right, so that I could slow down so that I'd be at or below 45. And I'm tired as shit. I'm still rubbing crust out of my eyes, but I'm going down the highway, and they have what they call blue lighting people. Do you guys have blue lighting up in your neighborhood?
Never heard of it.
Okay. So around here, what will happen is occasionally a cop will fly by you and flip his flashers on, just for shits.
Just to let you know.
Just to see what would happen.
Slow you down, yeah.
No, it's literally to see who freaks out.
No.
And this guy, I'm middle of the road here, so every town down here traditionally has one cop on duty at any given time because there's like 400 people that live there, so the one asshole cop is the only one ever on duty. And he blue lights me and fucking he blue lights the group of us. And because I'm tired, I hit my brakes thinking, oh, fuck, he's trying to turn around. Mm-hmm. I'm from the city. If a cop turns his lights on, you fucking stop. Mm-hmm. You get the fuck out of the way. And so I do so, not even thinking, completely subconscious, no guilt. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess he's not turning around, so I just keep going. There's a line of 6 of us. And 2 of the cars immediately either pull into a parking lot, a gas station, or off the to the other. They just get off that road altogether. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, whatever. And so I just keep driving. He flips his lights on. He's right up on my ass, and I go, what the fuck? So I'm like, all right. So I pull over to the side of the road, put the car in park. He gets out of the car and he goes, you know why I pulled you over? No, he didn't even say that. He goes, let me see your insurance and driver's license. And I'm like, well, can I ask what's up? Why am I getting pulled over? You need to drop that attitude, boy. And I was like, well, first of all, you ain't owning me, so I ain't your boy. And so I hand him my shit, and I'm like, so why did you pull me over? And he's like, well, you were doing 65. And I was like, no, I wasn't. My wife will tell you I was doing 40 at best. And he's like, well, you were hit by the radar. And I was like, okay, can I see the gun? Because that's a standard law. If you get pulled over and they say they shot you on radar, or they got you in a speed trap, they have to show you it. Well, I didn't think about it at the time, and he's like, "Why don't you go ahead and step out of the car?" And apparently, in Alabama, getting out of the car without being forced out, unlike every other state, is an admission of guilt. So if you any potential listener gets pulled over in Alabama and there's no gun at your face, don't get out of the car.
I get on I-10 and I just go right on through. I don't even stop.
Well, then I mean, I swear to God, I'd have decked the fat fucker if it wasn't for the fact that my wife and I were on the way to work. Because he's sitting there calling me boy and telling me how I need to watch my mouth, and I hadn't gotten rude yet. You know, and I'm like, what the fuck did I do to you, asshole? I was driving to work, you turned on your lights, I freaked out.
Yeah.
I don't get it. We're in the sticks, man. It's not like they have to worry about policing drive-by shootings like the city does. They don't have to worry about random shootings like the bigger cities.
In that situation, I just would have typed /stuck and just got out of that. Got out of that.
In some cases that kills you. But yeah.
Oh, by the way, don't in Secret World.
Oh God.
If you type /stuck, you die.
What?
It's suicide. And you spawn at your little respawn place. So just FYI, while you're playing that game,
if I get stuck, don't stuck. Just keep jumping in place.
Well, you can do that, or just hit stuck, and it doesn't incur any damage or anything. You just end up at the respawn place, which is like the old Warcraft, a million miles from where you were. But yeah. But think about Star Wars. In some cases, you could either die, pop out 2 feet away from where you were, or out of where you were. Only to lag back into where you were, or use your 18-hour cooldown, transporter.
Fleet pass.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, there was I remember one Black Talon run we were on. My game froze, so I had to reload, and I actually ended up just floating in space for a little while.
Did that? I've got pictures of it. I came out of a flashpoint, and I walked through the little thing and went through the little transition screen, and poof, I'm out in space. And Zuzu's out there floating around in space, just standing there, and it was really cool. I did this really cool screenshot. I cleared out my UI and then did the lightning thing right above my head, so I got this big, huge arc of lightning, and she's just floating in space. It's actually kind of cool looking. I took video of it and everything. I was like, oh, this is cool.
I really wish Kevin didn't have his Xbox, because if he didn't have his Xbox, he would be forced to buy Battlefield 3 on his PC, and then I could play with.
You could buy it for me.
Wait a minute, you have BF3 on your PC?
Yeah.
My Steam is White Sword TV.
I was gonna say, mine's Lanyard 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's on Origin.
Whoa. First of all, you're actually Lanyard 1, Lanyard 2, Lanyard in a butt. I mean,
it's like on SWTOR. I'm Lanyard on every server, even though I don't play on them. Which is why, remember when we were doing the podcast, it was like, I don't understand why I've got 13 characters. Well, that's why. Because I have one on every freaking server, so I saved my name.
Yeah, because you were like, well, I don't know where we're going next, so I'm going to make sure I get my name.
That's right.
When they were doing the server condensing. Well, my first Steam account was under just data card, and apparently I had to do data. I ended up forgetting the password and the email that was associated. And I have data card 69 now on my Steam account, and my list is fracking huge. So another thing that Steam Gifts thing does is tells you the general value of your account. Kevin, have you had fun with that yet? Have you seen how much yours is? Okay, so I went on
mine's
there.
full of indie games, so it's probably not going to be that much.
You don't know. The nephew has me beat by about $700 a year.
Well, now in the defense of Lone, we all buy him games.
Yeah, Lone's worse than Kevin on that. He just
we all buy him games that he doesn't play.
Well, no, he plays them. Oh, but the funny thing is with his is that he watches so many live streamers and he's friends with so many people in the interwebs that either our buddies like Sass will jump in and be like, oh, I found this new game, here, Lone, play this with me. And then they'll beat it and then he'll be bored with it.
Yeah.
And then other ones of us will buy him a game like, oh, dude, we so thought this was up your alley. And he'll play 15 minutes and be like, oh, fuck, that's stupid. That shit's crazy. I'm not doing that again.
Yeah.
Or like in the Minecraft situation where somebody will get a hair in their ass and be like, ooh, I want to play Minecraft. Hold on, is Lone online? I can get him to play with me. And then suddenly the nephew's back into playing that. And so everybody buys him games based on either his likes, dislikes, something we like.
That's just because so many people like Lone. That's why.
We throw games.
Lone is fun to play with.
Where do I find this at? Because I was looking for that.
You got to register your account on SteamGifts.com.
Oh.
And then there's a thing there that Yeah. And it's not
Well, you
putting
know,
in your
I got
past-
you guys.
the thing, it's just your username.
I got you guys Secret World. So you know.
I
Yeah.
gave you Dota.
Yeah, I tried that. I didn't understand it. I was confused
Me
about
neither.
it. It was like
I got
don't-
6 copies
I
for
don't
free.
Get this
Yeah.
game at all? So
Dota's the ultimate giveaway because it gives itself away.
yeah,
I know. I love that. I love that the community chose for it to be on sale, and it's
Yeah.
like everybody I've ever talked to. Like I had those 6 keys. I did a video. I said, "Look, I'm giving away free games." Nothing.
nada. Yeah.
I do a video where I'm gonna do some stuff in WoW, over 1,000 views. I'm like, I was just giving away a $40 game, but everybody's like, we all have it. We don't want it.
Yeah.
Well, what happened was at one point they were trying to push for people to get into it at beta, and everybody who bought the game eventually got a key or up to 10 keys at random. They just sent out all these Steam keys. And then everybody had to give it to their buddy, like, oh, man, do you have Dota yet? No. Okay, well, here, take one. I don't want fucking Dota. Well, give it to somebody else. And it was just nonstop. But, yeah, I mean, people throw games at my nephew like dollars at strippers.
I just got an invite for beta, for Trion's new beta game. I forgot what it's called. It's kind of an end-of-the-world scenario. Looks pretty
well,
but,
I'm in
but
the
I think it's one of those.
beta.
I think it's one of those maps that I don't like. The one where you hover over and you have your screen stays the same, but your character goes around in circles. I don't like those games. It could, you know, like Diablo.
A dungeon crawler.
Yeah.
Like a Torchlight.
Yeah. Those
and I mean, I do like some of those games, but I don't know. I just
I have to be over the shoulder or no good, man.
I think most of my games is I'll always have 2 major primary games. It'll always be a first-person shooter and some random MMO. It doesn't really matter which one. In some cases, I feel like they're interchangeable depending on my mood.
Yeah.
But I think my biggest love for certain games is music. Specifically ones that I can use my music on. So you guys have seen my videos like on audio.
What the hell are you talking about? You always turn all your sound off. What do you mean? Do you like the music?
Well, that's why, because it's not my music. Like
he's not listening to his Pink Floyd dubstep.
That's a badass dubstep, man. I'm telling you, that's
Thank
cool.
you.
Well, the
Fucking
one,
Step.
the Welcome to the Machine.
Awesome.
Welcome to the
okay,
Machine
I do
fucking
like the
rocks,
Welcome to the Machine.
Man.
That is
the rest
the
of them
only
kinda
one on
suck,
there.
but that one is really good.
That's just such a great song in general that they did a really good job of it.
Yeah, but I mean, those are my kind of games. Like, I do like Symphony. I put up a video for that. They did one that was Raycatcher, but apparently the guy who made it got about 3/4 of the way in production and started selling it, much like the dude did with Minecraft. And then everybody else in his production team was like, you know what? This looks like shit. We're done.
Yeah.
So.
Speaking of which, Dad,
shit.
you need to send me that Rolling Stone game. I want to try that. I've been wanting to try that ever since I saw the video of that.
That did
Ages.
look kind of cool. I remember when you were posting those videos. I almost bought that because I did like the way it looked.
It's a fun strategy game.
Yeah.
I like Rolling Rocks. That's cool.
Yeah.
What kind of games do you find yourself going towards, Lanyard? I mean, besides.
Well, I don't like the first-person shooters because of that.
Yeah.
I don't like because it's never right. You know, it's always some. I mean, like, what was it?
Look, it should have been this.
Well, I don't have my gun. I'm sorry. But I was going to do. I was going to do Skyrim instead. Here I am walking around with my hand out in front of me because that's what you do in Skyrim.
Yeah, but with Skyrim, you can wheel out and go third person.
Yes, I know. That's what I was told you could do that, and that's fine. But I like the third persons. The MMOs are great. But what I've really been enjoying lately is the war strategy games, combat strategy games. So like World of Tanks.
Civ.
Yeah, Civ is fun. I want to check out one of the. They have an MMO that's like Civ, and I really want to check that out. But there's a but no, like World of Tanks. I fucking love the tank game, man.
I really love. You got that.
They just
that
got
World of Planes you were posting video looks great.
Well, now they're up to 8.3. They're in 8.3 beta right now, and they're introducing the Chinese line of tanks. And they're
Wait, so is there a respawn, or do they just
No. What you do is you get your tanks and you go out into a battle. It's 15 versus 15 on a map, okay? And there's 2 different types of battles. They have one where you got to capture the opponent's flag, which basically you just go in and you sit inside their camp until the timer goes by. And then there's another one where there's a camp and somebody has to cap it. So both teams race towards that and try to cap it. And of course, the other way to win is just kill the other. To wipe out the entire other side's team. But you know, there's just trees to hide in, buildings to hide around. It's really a lot of fun. And but they just went into 8.3. That's in beta. It should be coming out soon. It's got to be, because I'm in the beta for that, which is great because they give you 999 million credits and 999 million
in-game bucks
money. Yeah. So I just went straight from, because I loaded up my lanyard, and of course he's got all the low-level tanks, and I just went ahead and sold all those and bought the highest tanks I could on all the, and was playing with, finally got to play the level 10 tanks, and the Chinese heavy tanks are just fucking awesome. But and then but that's I love those. And then they have they also have this for the same players from Wargaming. They have World of Warplanes, which I'm in the beta with, which is a great game. It's a great game. I mean, they did just an amazing job, just like they did with World of Tanks. But I really suck at it. So I mean, I can fly the plane around just fine, but if I get anybody on my ass, I'm screwed, and I can't shoot anybody.
You're fighting against guys who have the whole.
Yeah,
fucking...
the guys that are World War II flyers, I think, because they know how to dogfight. And
well, they have all the fucking setups with the paddles.
Oh, well, I've got me a decent joystick. I've got a great joystick.
Dude, how do you guys fucking do that? Because I actually see all the peripherals for it, and there are certain games that I would like to try, but I've tried to use like keyboard, I've tried to use my controller.
No. It's like a car racing game. With a car.
Yeah, but I can steer with my fucking keyboard.
Yeah, but your car jitters. It's not like having a wheel.
Yeah.
And so I mean, I've just got a standard, just joystick. That's what I use for World of Planes. And it's got the throttle here, so I just use the throttle. It's got multi buttons, a hat, and which, by the way, the hat is this little tiny. Most gamers know what I mean.
Yeah.
But it's the little one here. And
it's the clit of the joystick.
Right, and I use that, and I use that as basically as my head. So when I'm flying, I can turn and look at. But I'm just not very good at it. But the game is amazing. It really needs to come out and release. And then, of course, now they're working also on World of Battleships. But I was on their website, and I was looking, and apparently they have some older games that came out in 2009 and stuff that are like World War II battlefield games, and I want to check those out. But I like those MMOs.
I can see it now, Kev. Remember when Xbox, they released that like enormous fucking tank console?
For the Mech Warrior games?
Yeah. I can see Lanyard using that and being like, honey, I can't have sex right now. I'm playing tanks.
Yes.
Got a too big fucking, takes up his whole, takes up his entire desk. Keyboard's off.
He's all like, I gotta go to gunner mode.
Yeah, hell yeah. I love that game, man. It's a blast. I really do enjoy it. It's great. And it's free to play. Free to download, free to play. So that's always a plus too.
But is it going to be like World of Tanks, where it might be free to play, free to download, but free to win?
Yeah, World of Tanks is the same way. They've changed.
Or pay to win. I mean, pay to win. Like
No. World of Tanks is no longer pay to win. They've changed that.
Because my old roommate, that was the thing that he would just come out here and he would bitch about World of Tanks. Is like, I paid $40 or whatever, how much the tanks are, and then 2 days later, some new small Japanese version tank comes out that can blow.
No. They tried the DPS with a shield, isn't it?
Yeah. There you go. So there you're talking.
I'm just saying. I mean, that doesn't take away the point that he still bought a tank.
The tanks that you can buy for gold, which of course, if gold you have to actually purchase. The tanks you can buy for gold are unique tanks. In other words, they might be some bizarre tank that that was never actually put on the battlefield, but they're no stronger or weaker than any others. They might have a tank might have like super shielding, but it has like crap for guns. So I mean, there's a balance there. And then the gold rounds that you used to be able to buy that would do really good damage, that's fine in the lower tiers. That can help out. But once you start getting into higher tiers, they don't do they do different type of damage. So you have armor penetrating, which will put holes through tanks, but might not necessarily kill anything. Might not. It'll put a hole through it and do a little bit of damage. But if you don't hit something major like the engine or the gas tank or one of the driver or one of the people inside, you doesn't do any damage. And then you've got high explosive rounds, which do a lot of damage, but you might not damage any. You might not bust the track up. So I use mostly the high explosive rounds because I like to knock their hit tanks down as fast as I can. I'm using artillery a lot, which is you're launching bullets at people, and I use the depending on what I'm trying to kill, I'll switch back and forth between rounds. So if I drop a round on let's say a high level Russian or a high level Russian KV5 or something, which is a big Russian heavy tank, and it just goes ping, doesn't do any damage, bounces completely off of them. I switch over to the splash rounds, and I'll drop a round on them, and then I'm doing good damage. But it's not stopping them. It's not slowing them down. But I'm slowly
taking away
their hit. And the other thing I like about the splash rounds is when they get into groups and they'll be like hiding behind a rock, and one will pull forward and do a shot, and then the other guy, I'll drop my splash round on the artillery, and I'm doing damage to everybody in that little area because of flames. So
see, like when I used to play Battlefield 1942. That was the thing I loved to do. I would love to get into the mortar round one, and I'd drive that thing up slow as shit, but I loved getting up on that hill and then just positioning myself right and just chucking fucking things at people. And that's the thing I love about 1942. To me, that was one of the best first-person shooters. That style of just getting up in there and just being the support guy from the back and just shooting people and from a distance while everybody else is running crazy.
Yeah, I like it from the back too.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, they have kind of tankish stuff like in Battlefield. Okay. So I've played tank superiority a little bit. But I'm sure it's not obviously as in depth because it's more or less a side note in Battlefield's
whereas tank is just straight up. That's what you are, yeah.
But
well, they're looking to eventually intertwine the 2 or 3. So they'll have
infantry with tanks.
See, that would be,
no infantry. So they'll have tanks and planes, or they'll have ships and planes, because obviously,
I think it would be kind of cool.
Ships and tanks don't work real well, but
see, when I used to when I played 1942, it would be kind of cool because I would get in the submarine on some of those maps, and I'd just fucking float around that submarine.
Rogue Nation, bro. Or
even just that was the thing I love about those. I would get in the carrier and just drive around the thing on the carrier, or get in the big the airplane and just fly around and be that portable spawn point because people then can spawn to you and parachute out.
Yeah.
So that's why I like the idea of the world of tanks and planes and all that stuff, but I like the way Battlefield mixed them all together and they made them work together as one.
Well, I tell you, like I said, it's free to download. So
and you can't go wrong with free. Free is always good.
So
to a point.
Unless you actually sit down and get the instructions from Lanyard to play it. And then your mind is completely fucking blown.
Yeah, right. Because I throw everything out at once. Don't ask me how to play it. Just read the freaking. Just
go in and click, bang, just hit your keyboard at random.
Yeah, you'll figure it out.
I love you, Lanyard, but the day me and Michael downloaded that game.
I was too. You know what? I'm really excited about the game, so I try to shove everything out at once, and I've got to remember to ask me a question, and I'll just answer that, and then be done. Not try to elaborate anything because I know I can get that way. So if you guys are looking to play like any of the games that I play, there's a good chance that it's going to be Lanyard. Everything I make is Lanyard. Secret World, I've got a Lanyard, but I don't play him as much. I've been playing Sweeza, which is Sweeza. I've been playing her like crazy. She's got, and if you see her in the world, she's got a goofy top hat with a long purple jacket, and she looks pretty dope. She looks like the Joker if he was female. Yeah. And then World of Tanks, I've got 3 accounts. I've got a Sweeza account, a Lanyard account, and a Mayonnaise account. Mayonnaise has got most of my tanks, but Lanyard I've been playing mostly. And then anything else, SWTOR or Rift or that's about it. I have a Sweeza or a Lanyard. So look for me in those. You can look for Datakar in any games that he plays as Datakar. Fuck, I don't know. You still hold on to Savan?
Yeah, pretty much. Anything that's if a game has a caster ability, it'll always be Savan. Or Lamezor has been my new kick for names. So either one of those two, or some kind of variation of White Sword TV, the White Sword. Most likely it's going to be the White Sword of any kind. Or you can just hit us up on the site. And we'll usually post.
And we're always on. Most of us always have Steam on. So
yeah, mine's on all the time. Mine's Steam is White Sword TV,
Datakar, and Lanyard 1. So
yeah.
So that's gonna be. I think that's gonna be it for this week, guys. I think we're running beyond the hour. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I want to throw another plug in for Audible. Remember, you can get all your good audiobooks there. They've got everything that you can imagine, from FYI or.
Are you guys reading any books right now from Audible?
I've still got the last two Star Wars Old Republic books that I'm still working on.
I just picked up Under the Dome, Stephen King.
Oh, how's that?
Which I've read before, but now I'm just listening to audio because I'm doing it at work, and it's really good.
Cool.
It's a good. It's Stephen King's version of the Simpson movie.
What?
Okay, you know, like in the Simpson movie, the
dome
comes and they put the dome over Springfield. This is Stephen King's version of that, of like Stephen King crazy.
Do you think that maybe the Simpsons got it from them?
No, Simpsons was first.
Could it be that he was inspired by the comic rantings of Pauly Shore in Biodome?
No.
I mean, that was pretty horrible.
Maybe.
No, not as horrible as. I mean, just the part with the dome coming down in this movie is pretty fucking horrible. But I always explain to people, it's like, oh, what is that? It's like,
don't tell me it's Stephen King, so it has something to do with aliens.
Like I said, I'm not going to tell you.
It always has aliens. I think Carrie was an alien.
I've read it 2 times before, and now I'm just going to listen to it. But it's basically, I always tell people, it's kind of like if Stephen King had wrote that episode of the Simpsons movie where the dome comes over Springfield. It's a really good book. It's a Stephen King book. It's not bad, you know.
And I'm guessing Dat's probably listening to another Kevin Smith book.
No, no. I mean, the Tough Shit book was really good. It's both enlightening and enjoyable.
What's that black book that?
What? Black book? What, do you got a problem with black books?
Yes, the Harlem book. What was that Harlem book with the black people in it?
Oh, The Rage in Harlem.
Dude, that was such a good book. Go back and read that. It was really good.
I listened to it. Trust me, it was terrible.
Was that like Snakes on a Plane? Come on.
No, it was a good book.
It's like this goofy-ass 1940s era book where some dipshit gets swindled into trying to launder money. And he just gets completely fucked from one end of the other.
He's an idiot, but that's what makes it so great.
Yeah.
She loves me. That's my girl. That's my girl.
I'm trying to, believe it or not, suffer my way through the red red plague or whatever. Red Harvest. Red Harvest.
Oh, I liked that book.
Oh god, it's horrible. I'm really having a hard time getting
kind of slow.
It was beginning slow, but it got better.
Well, I'm still in the beginning then. So. Anyway, so audibletrial.com/SitTalk, and you can get signed up for that, and get your free first month, and then if you like the way it goes, you can pay for the subscription, and that would really help us out. And it's also, they have apps as well for your Android or your what's that Apple phone? iPhone.
And the best part about the iPhone app, and other than the fact that the obviousness of free, I was checking it out the other day and going through my stats and stuff. You can track not only your stats, the hours listened, but then you get cool little badges like the one that I have, which is called Binge. It's Binge Listener. Listening to books from start to finish.
And don't do what Lanyard did with the Audible and buy the zombie survival guide, thinking that it's a book and not an actual reference guide.
It was pretty bad.
Well, it's a little bit of both. I mean, I've read the book, and it's what actually led to most of my zombie
It went well with The Walking Dead. Oh, and I gotta say thanks to White Sword for loaning me
loaning
me the Walking Dead comics. It's kind of driving me crazy because after the first issue, it hasn't followed the TV series at all. But
no, yeah. They take some stuff from the TV show,
yeah,
but that's...
I see bits and pieces, and I'm like, oh, okay. Well, that didn't exactly happen because Dale and Andrea getting together. Anyway,
you're far ahead in there.
But I'm still doing Zombie Fallout. I just got done listening to my third roll on the whole Zombie Fallout series, and I have to admit I enjoyed it twice as much, leaving out book 3.5. So anybody who's like, oh, the Zombie Fallout book sounds good, don't get 3.5. It's a waste of $20.
Is this the one where the guy talks to Michael Bolton?
No, it's that asshole from Tommy talks to that asshole from American Idol. Ryan Seacrest is his inner voice.
Oh, so I'm sorry, that's worse than Michael.
I was going to say, wow, I don't know.
So he talks to Seacrest, not Bolton.
Well, that's what he thinks he gets.
Well, then he talks to the dog, and the dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're giving away, FYI, spoiler alerts,
Oh, spoilers! The guy, the kid talks to himself.
No, the spoilers are all the inconsistencies that I found in the book series. Like,
I liked
as the writer, but as the writer, you should be able to keep your primary characters in line and be
same writer. Maybe he just didn't read the first book.
Well, the first two in the first two books, there's a woman in there. They call her Mrs. Deneau. She's a crotchety old bitch. And in books 4 and 5, she's Miss Deneau, the crotchety old bitch. And for some odd reason, in book 3, she ends up being Miss Devereaux. Well, and then, you know, as I told Kevin, there were some odd twists and turns, but the same character that ended up being like 500 years old has a discussion in the very first book about how his aunt, who is mortal, had changed his diapers, and that didn't make any sense.
Oh, okay. So
sounds better than Twilight, though.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
well.
It's infinitely better than Twilight.
All right, guys. We're going to wrap it up. Any last words? Anything you got to say? Anything coming up that you're going to be posting on your tube?
I'm still waiting for a copy of that Sony edit program from Kevin because we haven't figured out how to get me another.
I just told you how to get the free Adobe Premiere.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah.
I didn't know that was.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
kind of a bitch. You got to read you got to read the Adobe thing on a little PDF that pulls up to show you how to properly install it, because it was kind of a pain in the ass. You can't do it individually. Yeah.
The only thing I got going on right now, I'm going to edit up this video with the horse mask and the police. That's really about it right now. I'm still leveling up my hunter and WoW because I want to start doing some extremist soling throughout the content and killing some of these old raid bosses with me and my hunter, Lame Zor.
Cool. Dad, anything going? What are you doing this week?
I'm pretty much going to be on Battlefield most of the time. I'm going to jump into Star Wars and see if I can get to a few runs. Probably, I don't know, sometime maybe tonight or Sunday or some other day. I've got the wife's birthday's tomorrow, so we've got to drive out to bumfucked Egypt to meet with some friends that are going to pay for her birthday dinner, which makes me happy because I'm broke. But yeah, I'm looking forward to going to the Battlefield. Would ask anyone who's interested, if you want to check out some of the games that I play, go to the Data Car channel on YouTube and take a little surf through some of the randomness I've put up so far. I'm hoping for tax time. If tax time is as good to me as I'm hoping this year, Dad is upgrading his motherboard, his processor, his power supply, and buying a second video card and possibly a new case.
And we're not going to have utensils connected to the power supplies?
Nope.
It's a fucking paper clip.
No more duct tape and paper clips. Okay.
No more.
As soon as I see someone eat with a fucking paper clip, by God, I will agree with you. But
hold on.
Let
me get a paper clip. Don't tempt me, Dad, because I will prove you wrong.
All right,
next Cooking with White Sword, hot dogs on paper clips.
Hey, the next episode. Okay, guys, well...
Actually, it might be...
I'm going to be probably doing a little bit of World of Tanks this weekend. Actually, no, I did that last weekend. So I'm going to be working on Suiza to get her moved up in the Secret World this weekend. So you can look for me on there if I'm on. And... guys, that's going to be it. We're going to be doing this podcast every 2 weeks. So if you like it, look forward again in 2 weeks, which will be the 26th of January. Please leave your comments.
If you really like it.
If you don't like it,
don't forget to subscribe and like the video.
Please subscribe, please like, and
I did just to let everybody know, I did put the I want more button on the show page. I updated that, and there's only the Audible sponsor on our Podomatic site now.
That's right, Podomatic.
But this one's going to be listed through Sith Talk's Podomatic site. If you like the Name in Progress as a name for the show, let us know. If you do not, hey, grab your balls and give us an idea, because we've come up with a dozen of them and we've shot each other down at every turn.
Yeah.
So feel free to do that. Otherwise, we're going to get the hell out of here. We got shit to do.
See ya.
Oh my gosh.
And we're clear.
I recorded the audio too, just in case.
Doing the outro. Thanks for talking over it. But hey.
Sorry.
You didn't tell me you had an outro. You said you had an intro.
I showed you guys the outro. All right. Now
I saw the intro. Where was the outro? Who got the outro?
Watching. But anyway.